kid show, maybe you get artwork done. Another thing, easy thing to do, I think, these days is to get a camera and just shoot it. Now, you want to get people to know what they're doing so it looks nice and the sound is good and so on. That sometimes can help. I think it varies from company to company, right? Some of them, they're only looking internally. When you got a good idea, it's not like they don't want good ideas. What their concern is that they get so many bad ideas. Even for people like me walking in and go, oh yeah, you're right. This isn't it. So it helps to be a published writer. It helps to have something in print. And I always recommend to people, write for anything. Write letters to the editor. Write an article for the local newspaper. Write stuff to send to people so that you get yourself good until people are going, you should be. And they are out hunting, they're actively looking for people, that they're reading the funny columnists and going, geez, we should get him in as a gag writer maybe, or whatever. So I think there's always opportunity to get you build your reputation. You just got to be that good at some point. I was lucky with performing. I was on stage at the Science Center for 3,000 shows over 3 years, something like that, or 2,800 shows in 3 years. It's a lot of practice time in front of an audience and learning. So go to the companies, or you can go to the broadcaster. The issue right now is nobody's buying anything. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody has any money. You look at the networks, you watch CBC, and the ads they're selling are for CBC shows. And there's car ads on right now, there's fast food ads, and I'm not sure what else is running. That's about it. And the guy with the slap with the chop. And that's it. Vince with the slap chop. You good? No. Oh, man.
Sorry, Rick.
That's disappointing. Okay, I'm not gonna. So there's that. Now I see that, like with the Frantics, the thing we did was we played small clubs, and we played every small bar and Holiday Inn in Ontario and beyond. And we got really good. And then when we went finally to radio, we were ready. We were capable of producing a half hour of good material a week. We actually produced it, the way we did it was to produce 2 hours of material, write it, and then take the best hour and rewrite it, and rewrite it, and rewrite it, and then take that hour, and then that got reduced to the best 27 minutes. So I always think of the bell curve, you take the stuff up here. Nobody has to know about that 80% that didn't make it air. It can be as bad as it is if you've got enough to fill the time. So selling the concept, you want to make sure it's a concept you watch too. What would you turn off The Simpsons to watch? When you come up with that, someone else will be interested too. That's an interesting measuring stick, because that's what you'll ultimately be up against. You'll be running it up against a rerun of The Simpsons. And if you've got something that's more interesting.
I think it's a good idea to have talent attached to something.
Oh, sure, of course it helps. And that's where, if you've got an idea and you go to someone's in town to play or whatever, or you find out who their agent is, you send them something, be prepared that everybody's overwhelmed and overworked, and you may not hear back. But it's certainly worth looking, and it helps to get to know a lot of it. I'm told that a lot of the networks will have on their producer, check out some section under producers or submissions, and they'll give you their guidance. Here's what we're looking for. We don't know. And yet it's amazing how many people will, we are not looking for game shows. And people go, a game show. We don't do game shows. Yeah, but this is so good. Thank you. Unless you're Steven Spielberg, they're just, being Rick Green may get you a meeting, that's it. It doesn't give you anything beyond how good the idea is. And I don't think it should. Yeah, exactly. I'll pay you back from it. Is that helpful? I don't mean to be disheartening, but it's tough. It's tough right now, especially. All I keep saying to people is just get better. And the Frantics were smart in that we got so good that people, every time people came to see us once we started to break, it was like, how come I've never heard of these guys before? This is the funniest thing. We had Second City in here last month. You guys, whatever. This is great. And it was like, we've got to get them on television. That's the position to be in. Okay.
We'll
Yes.
segue into the next question, which was
one?
Yeah, I
time.
was just wondering how much time you dedicate, because like any writing takes time. Do you get your projects first, and then you fill your time writing those projects, or do you do independent stuff that you then pitch, or how does it work?
A little of both. The writing takes what it takes, you know, on different things. On the documentary we just did, ADD and Loving It, it was really coming up with a lot of different concepts of what we could do. Some scripting, but Patrick's so good at improvising. There was a layout of the key words, the phrases that needed to be gotten across, because we were making points and so on. But it was really, it depends. With Red Green, there was a lot of writing. And, with Prisoners of Gravity, less so because there were a lot of quotes. It was really, you add up what I said in a show, it was probably 5 minutes, maybe 5, maybe 6, but usually less. Because you can see me every week, but there's Alan Moore or Will Eisner, so even I'd rather see them. And my act, I've done a few guest things, but mostly I've only acted in stuff I wrote. I know there's so many talented actors out there, and there's something joyful about writing something and watching others perform it. Just sit back. That's what I mean, history bites, to watch the cast of history bites do stuff, and I'd be over on the monitor watching and just giggling, and then something would come and I'd run over and whisper, next time I'll do this, give her a kiss, or whatever it be, right? Let's try it again, but this time in the middle of it, just suddenly look out, and they just see the actors, okay, and you can see the crew, well, this will be good, so, or the actor just coming up with something, what if and that's why it was so much fun to work with Patrick McKenna. He literally, every time we did an adventure with Bill together on Red Green, just repeated the idea. Eventually I realized, we gotta stop. He's like me, you gotta at some point say, no, that's great. No, funny, but no, that's cheap. That's great. So the writing process, but for sitting down for an actual script, it's you really want to be going full tilt. Now, I have the ability, I have ADHD, so the flip side of that is the ability to hyper-focus. And so when I get going, I can go 10-hour, I look up and go, I have to pee. Badly. But can you pee badly? I think no.
If you didn't
Yes.
first.
That went really badly.
I'm sure you're not cooking anything on the stove.
Exactly.
This is kind of related to hers then. Do you take your writing process as a 9-to-5 job? Do you set aside block structured time and you say, okay, I will write every day between such and such an hour? Or do you let it flow more naturally?
No, I wouldn't say I let it flow naturally. I do what needs doing. So right now we're developing material for this website on attention deficit and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. We're developing the website. So we're shooting my adventures with Bill, my character from Red Green, is going to become a poster boy because Mr. Bean is actually being used in England now to help people who have Asperger's syndrome because he embodies all of the symptoms. So when you say, what's Asperger's? Mr. Bean, how he has a girlfriend, but he really likes his teddy bear best, and he doesn't quite get things, and he's kind of intrusive into people's space. Okay, so that's it's a spectrum, but that gives you some flavor. My character, Bill, from Red Green, is pure ADHD. So we're shooting those. We're doing stuff with one of the experts. We're shooting some introductions to my piece by one of the experts. I'm doing some straight-to-camera kind of rants or editorial things about stuff that I've encountered along the way. And